Fighting games are.
King of
I
Fighters
don't
15.
know. Yeah, fighting games are King of Fighters, I guess.
Yeah, this week. See you next week
This,
when people forget about KOF existing ever again. Ah, I'm sad.
I mean, at the very least, there's definitely a lot of praise going around for 15 right now.
Yeah. This is for the difference because I'm not American, so I actually know the King of Fighters from prior experience, and and
Well,
everyone's like, "What the fuck is this game? And what do you mean it came out after Street Fighter One?"
yeah, yeah. The really funny thing that cracked me up is Max. Max is doing, of course, one with retrospective series, as he always does, leading up to a big release. And for this particular one, he said, like when he got up to KOF 14, he was playing through all the major ones. He got up to KOF 14, and the title of the video is labeled "Where I Started with KOF." It's the last fucking game before the current one.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah. I saw the title and I was like, "Oh."
yeah,
Just I don't even know what to describe it as. Like it's not really disappointment, but I guess that's the closest. Like a very very minor amount of disappointment, I guess.
yeah. It's weird because like then you want to compare for like other major Western fighting game YouTubers. Compare that to Max's friends and Super Best Friends, who are all big fans of KOF. So it's
Yeah,
weird, you know.
yeah.
I wonder though if that might be a thing, like if King of Fighters was bigger in Canada, or if maybe Wooly brought it over with them from Grenada. I don't know.
Who knows? Although I don't remember. Like from what I remember, Max used to be like really loyal to Capcom. So like
Uh, yeah, he definitely was.
so it may be a thing where like he saw KOF cabinets, but he was like, oh no, that's Capcom, so that's shit because he was young.
Yeah, I definitely, if memory serves, he definitely was super into Soul Cal. When Soul Cal was in its prime, but
Yeah,
everyone was.
for the 2 weeks that Soul Calibur was in his prime.
Hey, that's not fair. They had like four good games in a
I
row.
I remember 2 good games in a row because 2 and 3 were good. 4 was eh. five, five was a bit better than 4,
Yeah, but there were games before Soul Calibur 2.
but that's true. I don't remember much about the actual Soul Calibur. I remember Soul Edge because I did. That's the first one I played from the series.
I, I'm trying to remember. There was some goofy thing. Soul Calibur or Soul Edge. One of them was for the longest time, I think up until the release of Smash Ultimate, was the highest rated fighting game on Metacritic.
Ah, nice.
Either Soul Calibur or Soul Edge, again, I forget which. Maybe it was Soul Calibur 1. That game probably sold more Dreamcasts than any other game.
Yeah, the Demco was kind of a console seller, I suppose, in that era because we had Soul Calibur with Dreamcasts and we had Tekken 3 with PlayStations.
Yeah, and then Tekken Tag 1 again with PlayStation 2s. It's
I
been a
wish.
while since we've had a fighting game that really like was relevant for selling consoles. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's a great way to show just how both the zeitgeist changed and also how people's like how fighting games themselves changed. Because I think like I feel like it was a thing where the zeitgeist changed, so there wasn't as much demand, and then fighting game makers tried to keep up with the demand that was not there, failed, and now we're in hell.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. And like some developers like Namco used to be, for a good while there, Soul Calibur and Tekken were the some of the best graphics on their generations, each of their
Yeah,
games. Whereas Tekken 7 doesn't really feel like one of the more impressive games of the PS4 Xbox One generation.
yeah. Tekken 5, like aside from some like plot physics and freaking and like like very minuscule texture shit. Tekken 5 still holds up from what I remember.
Yeah,
I last played it like, I don't know, 2 years ago. So, I may be misremembering, but still. Tekken 5
yeah.
on. Yeah,
Tekken
go ahead.
5 was one of the best looking games on that platform. And I'll be honest, Tekken 6 and Tekken 7 don't look that much better than it.
Yeah.
In fact, with the way that Tekken 6 and Tekken 7 sometimes go overboard on lighting and particle effects, I'd almost say that Tekken 5 looks better than them in some ways.
Yeah, Tekken 5 also has some dumb shit in the levels, like the frog souls that I like that they lost. But that's just a bit of window dressing. Do you remember the frog souls?
No.
There's a garden level. In the garden level, if one of the characters gets knocked down in the bushes, then they crush a frog, and the frog's soul flies up to heaven.
Oh, God.
Yeah, like there's a light, and
How
then
come?
yeah.
I was about to ask a question that I think kind of answers itself. I was about to ask how come you didn't see Heihachi's soul coming out of the lava at the end of Tekken 7? I was like, oh, because his soul ain't going to heaven.
Well, no, that's because Heihachi's not dead. He's wrong. He's fire type, so he takes less damage from fire type attacks.
Oh, God. Are we going to see something like. Fuck, you remember the end of Tekken 1, Kazuya throws Heihachi off the cliff, then Heihachi sends him a letter saying you need to find a bigger cliff?
Yeah.
Like, is Tekken 8 going to start with Kazuya receiving a letter, you should have found a hotter volcano?
Yes.
Man, what the
And
fuck's
then
going on with
and
Tekken?
and then Kazuya puts a volcano in bikini.
That's the new fighter, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's decided he's done with Nina because Nina is just now awkwardly stuck.
Nina's too old. That's the problem.
Namco, like, I don't know why with Namco's fighting games, their thing is turning every one of their good guys bad. And, it was cool with Kazuya, but then as they started to make Jin worse, it was questionable. And I think making Nina a bad guy is just not working at all. Especially now that Anna is actually supposed to be the sympathetic one in their pairing, because just Nina got worse. Anna didn't get any better. Nina just got worse.
And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that Nina mattered. Like the only information regarding Nina that I have thought about for the past 2 games is Steve Fox is Nina's son, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, she features a lot in Tekken 7 story mode because by now she's just Kazuya's minion, I guess.
Yeah. Like, let's be real. Nina and Anna Williams should really just be Kazuya's wise and mature.
I mean, to me, it's like those two are defined by their hatred for each other, which, of course, is another storyline that will never end because no storyline in Tekken 7, no character in Tekken 7 matters except for the Mishimas.
Yeah, that like, I don't know, with how everyone's stories are disregarded except from people who work with the Mishimas or are Mishimas. Like, to me, it just makes sense that they would be relegated as, like, the comedic relief characters who hate each other but also work together because Kazuya pays them. Like, that's an anime trope. So that's why I'd expect them to do that.
But it's so much like it's not interesting. They don't have their own individual stories that are moving, which I feel like they should because so many other fighting games they do.
I mean, I feel like, obviously we can't know for sure because Tekken 8 is not out yet, and that would be the surefire way to know. But if they continue with the way they did the story in Tekken 7, then nobody will have a fucking story. Like,
Yeah,
it's just gonna be Jin and like Kazuya and Heihachi, and that's it. If Heihachi is not dead, which Heihachi is not dead, don't worry.
yeah. At the very least, we're gonna see young Heihachi again for some reason.
Yeah, Jun will come back. Jun will save Heihachi from the volcano. That's gonna be the twist of Tekken 8. And then Jun, yeah, go ahead.
And Akuma, either Akuma is there again for some reason, or just replace Akuma with another equally just out of left field character from another franchise. Like Scorpion's there now for some reason.
Yes, Jun.
It turns out the reason June went missing all this time isn't because Ancient Ogre ate her. It's because Jun went off to the Nether Realm to study with Scorpion, and now
No,
he's her
that's the
best
thing.
friend.
That's the thing. Ancient Ogre ate Jun, and Ancient Ogre's stomach was a portal to the Netherrealm.
I see. So is that what happened to the original king as well?
Yes. The original king became meat.
Oh, dude, could you imagine if Mortal Kombat 12 they bring back Meat, but he's just got King's crazy chain grabs?
I'd be fine with that. It would be funny.
I would love to see Meat come back in Mortal Kombat 12 as just like the most secretest of secret characters. You have to go through the complete ritual to get Reptile from Mortal Kombat 1. And then after you beat that, it unlocks a second path where you have to do the same shit again for Smoke from Mortal Kombat 2. And then again for Cyber Smoke from Mortal Kombat 3. And then after all that, you go to a specific part of the crypt. You have to pay 100 million bazillion combat bucks. You have to fight a boss rush of Melina, Goro, Kintaro, and Shao Kahn. You are confronted with the horrors of Naked Melina, and if you can survive all this, you get a pop-up that just simply says, Meat unlocked, and that's it.
You forgot about the part where you need to MS 25 error macros.
Yeah, oh, you're right. Can't forget the error macros. What about Kano transformations?
Ah, yes. You need 3 of those, because they're hard.
You've also got to stare at old Hornbuckle and Blaze in the distance for a solid hour.
No, you need to win the salty bet for Hornbuckle and Blaze.
Yeah. I don't have enough salty bucks for my Blaze. Whatever shall I do?
And then once you're done with all of that, then you get to play as Meat, and he just has King's moveset and a freaking on his Una drop, and that's it.
Yeah. He doesn't even have the 3 moves he had in Armageddon. He's just now a moveset swap. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. On a less stupid note, with KOF, so much at KOF information coming out, has anyone revealed who the final boss is?
Yes.
Who is it?
It's Verse. It's
oh.
But here's the thing: it's not Verse. It's Reverse. Yeah. So, what they did was, the new chick Isla.
Yeah.
Yeah. Verse comes back through her for some reason, and then that's Reverse. And Reverse fights kind of like Orochi Leona, but with full screen shit.
I see.
And she also has wings that you can use. That's the full screen shit. And then she also her moves are full screen wings, and then tremors spikes from the ground, from what I remember.
I see.
And once you beat her, then she gets angry and becomes red. And she's slightly more bullshit, but that's it.
So the entirety of the at least so far, because we haven't seen the latter half of the DLC.
No, Reverse is the pre-boss actually. Reverse, you beat Reverse, and Reverse summons God, and God is the final boss.
You do? Oh, God's the final boss. Okay, yeah. I see.
And God has two phases. One where she's blue and one where she's red.
I see. Okay. So the whole, at least as of now, because we haven't seen the latter half of the DLC packs, at least as of right now, the point of the whole killing Verse brought everyone back from the dead thing was just to bring back Ash, Yashiro, Sharmy, and Chris.
Yes.
Okay. Bringing back the Rock team doesn't surprise me at all. Ash, yeah, I guess Ash wasn't going to stay dead. It is strange to see them not bring Rugal back. I'm kind of curious why they haven't gone for that. I guess because they know Rugal is Rugal might be now. I'll be honest. This is an unfortunate position to suggest. Rugal may now be locked into the Rock Howard position, or rather the Johnny and Biken position.
Yeah. And the same for
where
Kim, where
yeah,
obviously Kim sells KOF. He's just such an integral part of the story.
yeah, exactly. I do wonder if they think that. Yeah. Alternatively, I guess they could also just be thinking they'll save Rugal for the end of the Shunai saga.
Who knows?
I
Although,
mean,
yeah,
I would wonder how many sagas they can even bother with doing because they have to keep coming up with new protagonists for every saga. I would have to wonder if eventually they'll get to a point where it's just like KOF Super All Stars or whatever. In which case, that would make most sense as the place to bring Rugal back because he's pretty well Kyo's nemesis because Orochi's too lame.
yeah. I want the next saga's protagonist to be Saishu, but he's 80 years old. Because by now he would be.
Yeah, because Japan loves people who are above the age of 20.
Yes. I mean, Saishu is cooler
Uh,
than Kyo still.
I mean, I won't deny that Saishu's cool. Has there been any other like particular news about KOF now that some people have got their hands on it?
Not really, from what I can tell. It's just, people still trying to figure out the game and how you can work around the auto combo stuff, which, yeah.
Yeah, I did see where someone had the dumbest looking touch of death combo with Robert.
What was it?
Well, let's see. Oh, I did want to mention this, I guess,
Yeah.
just real quick. The I was feeling kind of bad. I went ahead and ordered Elden Ring. I've got Warmer 3, of course, coming in the next couple days. I'm actually got it downloading right now, which is why I'm on the phone instead of doing this properly through, the microphone.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? Right. I did feel kind of like bad. Like I wanted to get KOF 15 and I feel like I got to support the series and so on. But I went for the two other games that I was interested in that came out in February instead. And then I saw someone in a tweet mention, oh, God damn it. Oh, the fucking power went out. Great. I hope that didn't fuck up the download. Amazing. Anyways, yeah, the felt bad about that until I saw somebody on Twitter mention again that KOF is now owned by the Saudi Arabian Blood Prince. And I was like, actually, you know what? I don't feel that bad about him not getting my money.
Yeah, it's a thing. Like,
Yeah.
I want to support KOF just because they stuck to their guns for the most part. I mean, I just like the freaking um I just like the auto combos, but like, compared to everything else, that's small pickings. At the same time, I don't fucking have the money. So hey, it's gonna have to wait until it's on sale or something so I can actually pick it up.
KOF's got two problems. One, it's made with the blood of countless innocents. Two, it has too many auto combos.
Yeah. I mean, the auto combos were a problem for me because I usually, like, because of Guilty Gear, I got used to starting combos with Jeb. You don't start with you don't start combos in Jeb in KOF 15 especially because that's how the auto combo kicks in. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead and talk for a little bit because I'm trying to sort through making sure nothing got fucked up by the power outage.
All right. So yeah, that was something I wanted to say about. Oh yeah, uh, in KOF 15, you beat God, and the person I saw watch the person I watched play through was team I like to call it Team Southdown, but it's not that. It's Team Fatal Fury. It's the Terry's team, and the person played the person beat God with Terry, and Terry was just like, I just fucking killed God. Yup, this is KOF. I
Yeah.
just I just really like how Terry's not phased by this anymore. He can't be. And,
I beat God with the powers of Kung Fu.
no, I beat God with the powers of America.
Ah, yes. Okay. Oh man.
And then
Oh, I
yeah,
forgot we didn't talk about the Guilty Gear Strive combo maker thing when that came around.
I don't even know what the fuck it is. I didn't really look into it.
It's really just as simple as a lot of practice modes have allowed you to record combos or record set play for a good while now, right? Like that's a thing
Yeah,
that a lot of practice modes and all fighting games have. So they're now making it where you can upload those recordings not only for people to watch, but also for them to try and imitate. Which basically, it's now people can put up their own combo trials, and they can put up like information about it, like this is how much percent health it does. You do it mid screen, it ends with a knockdown, yada yada yada.
yeah,
So it's basically like, yeah, people can make their own combo trials, which ideally will be something that'll work out for everyone, as long as it works, I guess, on a popularity based system. Something that works out for everyone, because there's always been that trouble with combo trials in pretty well every fighting game. Should the combo trial mode be a challenge, or should it be there to introduce players to new combo ideas, right?
yeah,
And when it's everyone can submit their own combos, then you can do both.
yeah.
So that's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice addition.
Yeah, it's all right.
I mean, for casuals who get so frustrated not understanding how combos work, this is what I said about last time the combo trials thing got brought up, because I give a shit about that for some reason. Is that when you pop in combo trials and say Street Fighter 4 the first time as a someone who's new to it, you will be endlessly frustrated because combo trials in Street Fighter 4 are not actually meant to be practical combos. They're meant to be the most challenging combos the developers could find. So I appreciate the idea of somehow, some way, someone finally putting in a combo trial system that can actually be helpful to new players who don't know how to do a combo. Like they don't know what makes a combo, the basic ingredients of the combos, and all that, you know?
Yeah.
So I just think it's neat. I think it's neat.
I mean, I would put it towards the good ideas this Strife has had. So
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
yeah. Go ahead.
I don't think there was much news other than that, was there?
Not really. A lot of fighting game talk has been taken over just people trying to get ready for KOF 15 and then now KOF 15. So
Yeah. Oh, I did see where someone really dumb was trying to say that Resident Evil countdown wasn't actually a countdown for Resident Evil. It's a countdown for Marvel vs. Capcom 4, Power Stone 3, or something.
yes, I saw I saw someone be like, oh, they saw someone fucking hacked into the countdown, and they could tell it was because fucking Phil Spencer is acquiring Capcom, and they posted the picture. It said something uh like Vice President of Xbox Game Pass, Phil Spencer.
Did you call him Spill Fencer?
Maybe I can't tell anymore. Oh yeah,
I like the idea that they wouldn't announce that through any actual corporate channels, like announcing it to stockholders or anything important like that. And it wouldn't even be an announcement of they're starting to work on the deal, because in corporate stuff, that stuff takes years to finish, even after announcement. No, there would be a big announcement that after several days of a countdown, the only announcement is, hey, these two companies are merging.
or not
Whoopity doo.
not only that, but Vice President of Xbox Game Pass, Phil Spencer.
Yeah, people are dumb.
Yeah.
And of
Uh,
course, also, like, it's virtually impossible for American companies to buy out Japanese companies, so that's just already stupid. Oh, God.
apparently that was wrong. I don't know exactly how the fucking Japanese law works because surprise, I don't study law or live in Japan. So,
Eh.
but from what I understand, like that is a law that it's in place, but it's for like for necessary companies. So like Toyota may not be able to be bought by an American company, but Capcom may, depending on how many pies they have their hands in.
Yeah.
Depending on how
Hmm.
many pies they stole.
Yeah. 40. That's 4 tens, and that's terrible.
Yes. We all know that this countdown is for Sengoku Basara 5, by the way.
Yeah.
No, actually I'm wrong. It's Basara Cross 2.
No, actually, you're still wrong. It's Devil Kings, too.
Ah, yes. They're releasing Sengoku Basara for Sumeragi with localized fucking locations and names again.
Yeah, it's not medieval Japan. No, it's I am the demon lord. Whatever. Oh
Yeah.
god. Oh boy. Have you played any fighting games this past week, Daddy?
Yes, my niece wanted to play fighting games. So we played I forget we played Marvel. Words.
Marvel,
Yeah, Marvel.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Badu. But yeah. So
I like to play Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Wolverine, and I take Chris Redfield, Doctor Doom,
Dr. Derm.
uh, Doctor Derp. That'd be a, that'd be a good alternate skin, Doctor Derp, and he's just got big googly eyes over his face, like the eye slots on his mask, and nothing else changes.
Yeah. I mean there's a couple good alternate outfit ideas for Victor, because there's that, there's Dr. Mood, where he's happy.
They just curl his mask up into a smile.
Yeah. No, he just cuts off the mouth part of his mask and then flips it and welds it back on.
Yeah,
You can see the weld marks.
yeah. It's just open on the bottom because it was built to have space for like his nose.
Yeah.
You can see the weird like meat juice pouring off his heavily scarred up face.
Yeah. Uh anyway, so yeah, we played Marvel. There's not much to report there. After that, I put on Brawlhalla because I was like, well, platform fighters are usually made to apply to casual or apply fuck. Are usually made to entice casuals. And we don't have this on Nintendo. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna show her freaking Brawlhalla, and she may like it because it's like Smash. She
And I assume your niece then picked her favorite, Roman Reigns, and crushed you aggressively. She
no she
speared you both in the game and in real life.
no she picked her favorite, Xavier Woods, and then freaking did a plancha to pancake or whatever the fuck. No, uh, we turned the game on. I explained to her how you play Brawlhalla, and she called it dumb and boring and left. I'm not even joking. Like she she walked around on screen. I think she tried to eliminate like a person. I think she eliminated me once, because when you play Brawlhalla, I mean, you can turn this off, I think, but I didn't, because I don't play locally all that much. But uh norm or by default in Brawlhalla, it spawns bots when you don't have at least 4 people playing. So
Yeah.
it was the two of us and 2 bots in a free for all. And I was pretty much like just making sure that the bots didn't kill her. And then she was trying to eliminate people just in general. She eliminated me once, and then said that the game is boring.
Yeah.
So her favorite fighting game for now is Uni. It
Yeah.
seems. But like it was really funny to see that, because the like she is the demographic for Brawlhalla in theory.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was funny to see how reality and that sort of stuff differs. She's also getting better at combos. Like she's actually starting to be able to do combos. She she fucking like she more or less did the Virgil freaking up down combo on me with Amaterasu. That was great.
Didn't even know Amaterasu could do that.
I don't think she can. I'm just not good at escaping freaking knockups.
Yeah.
Like she found the hole in my game plan and freaking abused it. So she's getting better.
She's learning. Eventually, your apprentice shall go stronger than you.
Yeah, but
You
yeah, I
must
think I
watch
think
out.
I think
The
that's all
rule
that.
of two dictates that she must eliminate you before she can take an apprentice of her own.
I mean, that is kind of how I'm training her, because like all of our family let her win, and she knows that. I'm the only one who doesn't, because because fighting games are not really designed to have unfair bosses anymore. I decided to be her Jinpachi, and I
Eh,
told her this.
eh,
So basically, I use my I let her get some hits in, and then sometimes I'm just like, how do I put this? Basically, sometimes I start to play like I play against Soon, for example. So like I'm not going all out, but I'm at a mid level instead of none at all with how I fight her.
yeah.
So yeah, that's been proving challenging enough for her for now, and yeah. With time, I will actually have to bother.
An
But
actual threat may be made.
yeah, but I mean, that is what I'm going for, so it's fine. I did also
Yeah.
I did also play the Last Blade 2, which there is sadly there is the thing, like because she is young, she doesn't like she doesn't like retro games except for Contra for some reason.
Yeah.
That's Contra is the exception, but she doesn't like pixel games. So I can't really show her games made before like 2010. Well, the fighting games specifically, I mean.
Yeah.
Was like it was like Tekken obviously wasn't pixel graphics, but like I can show her KOF, I can show her classic fucking Street Fighter words. I can't I don't know how she likes Uni, because that's pixel graphics too.
Yeah.
That's weird. But yeah, like basically when we play fighting games, it's like Street Fighter 5. When I had it downloaded, I don't have it anymore because it took up too much space. Tekken 7, which we found a similar fate.
Yeah.
Uh, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, or like Guilty Gear Xrd 2, freaking Rev 2, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Guilty Gear also kind of tries to imitate the pixel style. It's just secretly 3D.
Well, it tries to use the pixel style, but it's not actually pixely. You can't see the pixels.
But can you taste them?
Yes.
Mm. Ugh.
So yeah.
Anyways, what's your take in specific on those games?
Which one?
All of them. Give me them.
All right. Uh, Uni, I think, is very like Uni is a lot of fun in its own right. Like Uni, like that's the thing. I can't really put into words why I enjoy playing Uni. The only part that I can put into words is a side effect where Uni is a really good game for someone who wants to transition between Grandest Fighters and Air Dashers.
Yeah.
Like that's the main positive of Uni that I can point out. Even though Uni is a lot of fun to play on its own, like regardless.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like yeah, I like Uni. I just wish it had more characters, more or less, more characters and more
Eh,
stages.
maybe it will soon enough.
Yeah, we'll get uh Uni uh Uni R. Uni R, we introduce one more character after Ron Rekia.
Eh,
But yeah, let's see. Guilty Gear Xrd is probably Xrd Rev 2 is in a weird spot, because like I was going to say, oh, it's probably my favorite 2D fighting game, but not really, because it's in a tie with that and XX. Like both of them have noticeable and big enough um things over each other that I would say that I like that one better, but at the same time, both like it's a thing of I can't really decide if I like Exort or XX better because XX has bigger movesets and more overall like bullshit, and Exort has an easier to utilize RC mechanic and then some moves that I like that they gave to the characters in lieu of the older movesets.
Yeah, I was about to say it kind of varies from character to character because between X2 and Exard Bike, and one's a little bit of the obvious superior.
Yeah, like I like Exort Biken better. I don't know if I like XX or Exort Johnny better because I like XX Johnny's coins, but I like having the air mist finder in Exort. So that's a hard thing to choose between for me.
Yeah,
Uh,
Slayer like
yeah,
Slayer and X2 is just kind of straight better, but Exard Slayer's still good.
yeah. The XX Slayer is just straight better. Chip did not change. No, Chip changed in one way, which is he got Sansei Roga. That Sansei Roga makes him better because otherwise it's just the same character, but he has one more super that's good and easy to apply.
Which one is Zenseroga?
Sansei Roga is the Strider super, the one where he dashes across the screen like 4 times, and if he hits you once, then he goes into this like downward strike.
I barely remember it, but yes.
Yeah, he technically has it in XX, but only EX chip has it. Funnily enough,
Oh God,
yeah.
I do remember that. Yes, I do.
So yeah, that and then I don't know. Like I don't play the other characters freaking enough in either games to really know the minutiae of of how much has been changed between them. I guess because like Faust
Well,
mostly, yeah.
Skull's got a fairly big change in that. He has Ground Viper. And I forget. Did he have Ground Viper in X2 and lose it in Exard, or did he pick it up in Exard?
He has it in both.
He does. Oh
Yeah,
shit! I thought
the
he.
only
I thought he lost Ground Viper.
no, Exalt has Grand Viper, and in XX it was the ear rape move. He doesn't have it in he doesn't have it in the original, and that may be the only
Huh.
one.
Wait. Okay. So here's my question then: is the Ground Viper that where he actually leaves the ground at the end, where he actually goes into a full jumping volcanic viper? Is that Exard exclusive?
Maybe I don't remember.
Oh, and I guess the other thing to mention with Soul is Fafnir in X2 can still combo into itself, can it?
I think it can in Exalt as well, but I don't remember.
Right,
I,
Strive made it where it couldn't combo into itself
yeah,
anymore.
yeah, because in Strive that was his like bread and butter combo.
Uh,
Like
did he have
yeah,
Air Fafnir in Exard?
I think that was his dust, but I'm not sure.
Uh, He didn't change at all between X2 and Exard, did he?
He
Oh,
did
the
he did he did
the
it in a minor
dust
way.
setting up the his dust changed. His dust
Yeah,
changed.
his dust change so he can now enhance his projectiles.
Yeah, which is a pretty big change for a zoner key. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Pot, of course, lost the air pot buster, but he picked up the ICPM and the Trishula.
Yeah, which I prefer the ICPM, but that may just be because that's how I learned pot. But again,
Yeah, I like the ICPM. I do.
I suppose my thing is that for the ICPM I don't need to be in grab range.
Yeah.
That's just why I prefer it, because like the ICPM, if they're in the trajectory, they'll get hit. For the air pod buster, I need to input a pod buster in the air. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yep. That's the problem, and it's also still a gamble.
Yeah,
The Heavenly Pot Buster is easier to input, and you do usually have enough meter for it, so it's just the easier gamble to make.
yeah. And then who else was in both? Did Milia change? I don't think so. If so, not by much.
She couldn't have. I mean, I don't remember ever using the throwing knives in Exard, but I was just never big on the throwing knives with Milia to begin with.
Yeah, Milia does have the throwing knives. He lost it in Strive.
Venom didn't change much, did he?
I don't think so. He, well, I haven't played Exort Venom recently enough to know, but I guess he might have lost like one way to summon his balls.
Oh, does he? Does he in Exart have the charged ball? That's like the big black hole
Yes,
thing.
yes, he does.
Oh shit! I never noticed. If it also changed, I wouldn't have fucking noticed.
Is that the? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think he has.
Don't think Jam changed much.
Maybe something with her meter.
Yeah,
Because if I remember, I don't remember if XX has the HUD for it.
House changed something. He either lost a move or picked up a move.
He got the swimming super, I think, the Kancho.
No, he has that in X2.
Hmm.
I just don't hit it as often in X2.
Ah, okay. That
And
explains it then.
I know in Exart I use that move an absurd amount of times, but in X2 for whatever reason I still use it from time to time in X2, but I just don't connect it as often. You guys jump more in X2 or something.
I guess we are more zoomed out in X2.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Hmm. What could have Faust changed? It's like, did he have
Is command
the
grab
down?
still the same?
Yeah, did he have the down teleport in XX? I don't remember. I feel like he does.
The down teleport.
Yeah, when he falls from the air.
Oh yeah, he has that next to and Exart both. Yeah,
All right.
he has the he has the head toss in both versions.
Oh, I know what changed.
What was that?
Do you know the I don't remember what it is like. He thrusts out his scalpel and then pulls you in with a line and then throws you up and shit.
Yes, he. I don't think he. No, I think he has that next to.
No,
I think he has that.
he has he has like half of it, I think, but they added another hit onto it and it became just reckless, I think.
Yeah, you're probably right because I don't like to use that much anyways.
I hate that move because that the freaking CPU Faust spams it.
Of course he does. Can he do the air version of going my way in X2? He can, but it's on a different input. I remember that because I always get screwed up because in Exart I'm used to doing it, throwing it out a lot, but next to it's got a different input. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, obviously he lost the Duff specials, but everyone lost the Duff specials.
yeah.
I forget. Did they still figure out a way to have Baiken do the triple tatami gaishi in Exart anyways, just because
No,
it's so stupid?
no,
Ah,
no.
that's one of the dumbest moves in all of X2.
Instead of triple tatami gaishi, she now has gun in Exort.
Yeah, that's true. And in Strive, she has more gun.
Well, no, they changed it so it's not like the difference from what I don't remember Steve Baiken that much because I don't have a reason to look at her, but uh, freaking from what I remember, she has an actual like a flintlock pistol, something like that in Strive.
Yeah.
In Exort, she pulls out a fucking cannon. Like it's just a small cannon from China.
Oh, well,
Like,
she always has that as her air dust, and she had that next too.
yeah, that's the thing that she fires from for her Hadoken. Like she just pulls
She
out the
had a
hand cannon.
Hadoken, and she had a Hadoken and Exard.
Yes, it wasn't on a Hadoken input though. It was invincible dash dust.
Oh, I thought she just had a little gun joined to the bottom of her scabbard for her katana, her sheath.
No, I think she pulls out the cannon and shoots that. That's what I remember the animation being. Like she does put it next to her hip.
You'd know it better than me.
I don't know because it's been a while since I played Exert 2, so you know. And then even when I do, I don't always play Biken. So hey,
No, that's a shock. All right. With that stuff out of the way, I guess I should probably talk about what I played on my weeks, huh?
yeah.
Hell, I only played one fighting game. I put a little bit of time into X-Men Next Dimension because we've been talking about it so much. I have not been able to replicate or figure out exactly how the Sabretooth air command grab bug works. I tried to look up how to figure it out, but Google was not giving me good results, but I don't think I was looking in the right places. I definitely
You-
want to figure out how that works just so I can see the exploit with my own two eyes though.
Yeah, you need to go to the Dust Loop wiki.
Probably. Could you imagine all the major fighting games the Dust Loop Wiki would skip out on? But X-Men Dimension, oh boy, we got the tech.
I mean, I joke, but I actually feel like I remember seeing something like that.
Well, there's definitely like a fighting game like Poverty Game Wiki, but it was mostly like anime princess girl fighting game shit, you know?
Yeah. Let's see. Did does it actually have? Well, they don't have freaking X-Men, but they do have Gundam EX versus Maxi Boost On or whatever the fuck. Mobile Suit Gundam
That does.
Extreme versus Maxi Boost On. Yes.
Well, I'm sure that's a cult classic to somebody.
No, I
Hmm.
think I think that the people who who played Mobile Suit Gundam Maxi Boost or whatever. I forget what the prior game was, but from what I heard, they actually made the game worse with this new release. So
Nice.
yeah, because apparently there was something about movement that you could do that was really fun, and they removed that.
Well, you gotta get rid of that stuff. Sometimes shit like that does happen where there's like a bug that makes movement happen, but the developers are like, "It's a bug, get rid of it."
Yeah.
Reminds me of the transition from Devil May Cry 4 to Devil May Cry 5, how they got rid of guard flying,
Oh yeah.
which admittedly that one I think that one was more so just a casualty of their changes to the physics system. But that was one of those ones that like there was no way in hell a casual player would have ever figured out how to do the guard flying. Like that is something that you had to watch a YouTube video to figure out.
We have to save the casuals though.
I guess that's
We
true.
have to save them from themselves.
What was I going to say? Right. Anyways, X-Men Next Dimension. I put in just a little bit of time with a couple of the characters that I just kind of looked at, and I was like, "How the fuck do you make a fighting game character out of this guy?" For instance, I put a little bit of time in with Blob. Now, they went for full comic accuracy with Blob. Well, no, they went for more than comic accuracy with Blob. Because in the comics, Blob's about, I don't know, 7 foot tall. And he's really only about 400 pounds, at least in the classic Claremont run. He's not really that fat. Which, I mean, you got to remember, Blob's superpower is not being fat. Blob's superpower is that he has the mutant ability that he has his own center of gravity. But over the years, they've made him a lot fatter. And they in X-Men Next Dimension, they very much go for the modern comic book artist's interpretation of Blob, where he's like somehow 15 feet tall and has to weigh literal tons.
Ah.
Yeah, which begs the question of how do you make a fighting game character out of that, especially in a 3D fighting game? Well, never tell the get this right. Paradox Development, right? These guys, I don't think this is actually the same team that made Crusader Kings, but it was some kind of ancestor of theirs.
Yeah.
Never tell them no, because they went fuck it and they made this guy. And he's slow as hell, but he definitely seems pretty nuts. I have to
Yeah.
imagine throws don't work on him.
I feel like
I have to imagine throws don't work.
I feel like with a character with this concept, you just fucking you boot up Special 5 Special. You got Kusaragedo. And then you trace his sprites, more or less.
Yeah. He's not even got like Sargato is balanced because even though he's big and fucking slow, he's got massive reach.
Yeah,
Blob doesn't even have that.
Kusaragedo he's not really balanced. No.
Oh, is he not?
No, because Kusaragedo has a grab that does 60%. And it reaches like it reaches like 75% of the map.
Well, isn't that just normal for Sam Show?
No.
Oh.
Like she deals damage, but not 60% not 60% for a grab that you can do back to back immediately, more or less.
No Street Fighter 2 vanilla.
No,
anti-Honda maneuvers.
not yet. No, maybe Essential 7.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't think I've ever heard of a more hypothetically perfect 10-0 matchup than Street Fighter 2 Vanilla Geef versus Honda.
You know, I'm looking at pictures of
Um,
Blob because I forgot the character, and there's a picture of a Blob figure, and they're selling it at a place, and I misread the place's name. It's called the Big Bad Toy Store, but I read it was Big Bad Boy Store, and I was like, yep, I bet.
yeah, Blob is big and bad and a boy, so it's accurate.
Yeah, I also like how I'm looking up Blob, and then there's Birdie. Because why the fuck not?
Eh, there's a lot of overlap between Marvel and Capcom in terms of toys, because for a good while they did sell a crossover action figure line. I remember when I was a kid, I had a 2-pack of Captain America and Morrigan.
Ah, the lovers.
Yeah.
The lovers are Kana.
Yeah. What else was I going to say? Right. So playing around with some of the characters, though, I found there are a lot of characters in X-Men Next Dimension with command grabs, which I guess isn't a surprise. It's a 3D fighter, and part of the 3D fighter tradition is to have loads of grabs for some reason. But it cracked me up how so many of the X-Men characters, like, they go for like crazy cool grabs, but also they just kind of beg the question of why that character would do that. I picked Sabretooth for a little bit. Sabretooth is, I guess, the command grab character of that game. He even has a couple chain grabs. And he does shit like he does a German suplex. He does a Styles Clash. He does a spinning Death Valley driver. I'm just looking at it. I'm like, Sabretooth, you're a crazy wild man with incredible agility and like razor sharp claws. Why would you decide, oh, actually, I'm just going to grab onto the guy and do a fucking Death Valley driver to him instead of, clawing him up, which your powers would be conducive to,
That's what. Just wait and watch until he starts doing freaking burning hammers and tiger drivers.
I mean, dude, like, when I say Death Valley driver, I don't mean like the shitty discount version that John Cena does. I mean like the hardcore Death Valley fucking driver. The kind of Death Valley driver that the Burning Hammer is the inverted version of,
Ah, yeah.
the legit one.
Yeah, the
Yeah, and
actual fall on your head version instead of the back bump.
yes, 100%. Oh man, well, it's actually even worse because Sabretooth pulls their head down in such a way that's not even a head drop; it's a neck drop.
Ah,
That's that's a guaranteed fucking death in the ring
okay.
if someone tried to do that.
Yeah, they should have made him his personality at least work with the animations and have him like force the person to tuck their head while he's doing this Styles Clash and shit. Then.
And the other one I wanted to bring up, just because it was so just like, what the fuck, was Magneto, who for one has a move where he uses, the magnetic powers to push the opponent out and then pull the opponent towards them, and then he lariats them.
Ah, yes, Magneto, my favorite Clark Hogan.
Yeah. Oh, I'm talking full blown clothesline from hell, fell, by the way. The guy does a fucking flip afterwards.
Ah, nice.
And the other move, Magneto uses his magnetic powers to throw the enemy up in the air, and they fall down, right? And as they fall, Magneto catches them and German suplexes them.
Nice. Is it a release one?
No, I'm talking a full proper bridge. A pretty beautiful bridge, too.
I don't know. I feel like that would be funnier if it was a release German suplex. Like he just picks them up and throws them behind him.
The idea of throwing someone up just so you can catch them and then throw them up again,
it's dumb.
Yeah. Well, it's with that particular the movie does, even with the bridge, you can throw a good bridge and German suplex, but like Magneto, you didn't have to catch him at all. You could have just let him fall. Like,
And
also Magneto's,
yeah.
I mean, there are some times where Magneto comes off as being pretty muscular and buff when a certain artist draws him, but like in lore and story, Magneto is supposed to be this ancient old Holocaust survivor. Like, okay,
And
you
then
weren't expecting Oscar Schindler to German suplex you.
yeah, nobody expects it. Nobody expects him to start doing F5s.
Could you imagine, like, if there was a recording, like, of Adolf Hitler or whatever at one of his speeches, and just from out of nowhere, a Jewish dude comes up from behind him, German suplexes him through a table?
A burning table, and then
Yeah,
the crowd starts chanting EC dub in German.
yeah. The fucking idea of the crowd chanting EC Dub 50 years before ECW was even founded. That's so fucking stupid. We need a good wrestling based fighting game again, or fighting
But I
game
mean,
based wrestling game.
we are getting that. WWE 2K22.
Yeah,
It's not good, but it is a fighting game based wrestling game.
I mean,
I guess we can talk about it since it is kind of fighting games related. Yeah,
I gotta admit, I've not been paying that much attention. I'm kind of waiting for review scores and just going from there.
I looked into it enough to know that I don't care, more or less. Like they revealed the controls and I was like, man, that sounds like shit. And then I saw gameplay and I was like, man, that looks like shit. You know, because like it seems like they wanted to make a more fighting game like wrestling game, and then in the middle of production, someone went, wait, fuck, like people will expect this to be a wrestling game, so instead they just half-assed it both ways.
Nice.
So
See,
like,
I got really bugged
yeah,
when I saw the control scheme and I saw there was a dodge button, and I figured like you could do Rey Mysterio dodge rolls, or like, especially if you could set up for each wrestler, because like Samoa Joe dodge, just simply walk out of the way, right? No,
yeah,
for some reason it's boxing style, like tucking and weaving. Why?
because you see, wrestling is real fighting. Not a sport where people show off their athleticism and their acting chops. I guess is a way to put it, while also sometimes actually hitting each other for real.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like, when's the last time you saw anyone in the wrestling ring tuck and weave other than as a taunt, like Shane?
Never. Like
Yes.
maybe Tyson.
Did Tyson ever do anything in wrestling other than throwing the one punch at Shawn Michaels?
I mean, he might have weaved while doing that one. I don't remember.
You wouldn't need to dodge a punch from Shawn Michaels.
No, I mean while Sean was freaking being held by two people, he weaved and then did the punch. Oh, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, freaking WWE 2K22. From the way they explained it, you have a light attack and a heavy attack button. You have the dodge button. You also have a grab button. Well, if you press the grab button, you can then move on to further moves from the grab state. They didn't explain how that works, so I'm assuming it just works by pressing up, down, left, or right, and grab, which sucks.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that does.
if you want, like
The,
if you change the camera to be this way, and you change the controls to be this way, then I expect you to actually fucking comment. If you want to make a wrestling game that works like a fighting game, give me the grab state. That's fine. I can live with that. Give me a fucking thing where like I need to actually input motions then for a pile driver, because then we can actually have move sets.
yeah,
Like, you know, imagine if for a pile driver you had to input a Shoryuken and then the grab button again, and then that's a pile
yeah,
driver or something. Like, you know, don't even like, I'm not even saying that you should give each move its own motion inputs. I mean, that I would be fine with that, but I'm crazy. But like, you know,
yeah,
assign certain motion inputs to each directions, and you can have a very varied move set with that, or you can leave some spots empty if you don't want that big a move set. But like, imagine the amount of variance you could have if you'd have like you'd have a quarter circle, you'd have a DP motion both ways, you'd have a half circle, and then you'd have the same for up and down. Like, that's 6 moves just there.
yeah.
And then that's not even
I mean, for
considering.
my part,
Yeah,
like the trouble is, of course, like they're trying to be a sim and arcade game at the same time, and that's always been the biggest problem with the series.
yeah,
I mean, like making it an actual like fun arcade game to play, you can't have the amount of customization that's in the game right now,
yeah. That's
right? Because like you can pop in the game right now and go to Drew McIntyre's moveset and change every move that Drew McIntyre has to be a fucking low blow. But you can't go into Street Fighter right now and make every one of Ryu's moves be low punch, you know?
yeah. That's what I was also going to say. Is that like thanks for reminding me that when I saw the actual gameplay, I was like, okay, so how do CAWs work anymore? Because like it's one thing for real wrestlers to have their own moveset that's probably not accurate, but also how do you make your own? And how does that freaking affect how the controls work? Because it's like you said, it's one thing for a character to have a predetermined determined moveset that you may be able to change, but whatever. Like in fighting games, you don't get to change it. But it's one thing for the predetermined character to have the moveset. But how do you make your own? Like how does it interact with the creative section? Which like they said that the creative section is not gone, and I don't know how they would actually make it work. Like genuinely have no idea.
I have to assume the gameplay hasn't actually changed at all besides the addition of dodging. Because light attacks are probably just the same old usual punches. The heavy attack is probably just the strong attack that you'd get from holding down the punch button. Throws, the grapple system is almost certainly just largely unchanged, and so on. So I assume that it's just the same way it's always been, but because they slapped a new coat of paint on the controls, then it kind of looks like things are different, but they're actually not.
Yeah, you're probably right. There's also the thing of like the camera change is bad. The camera change makes no sense.
I don't even know what camera changes they made.
They zoomed in the camera, like they gave it a 2D fighter camera, but
Oh,
the
so it doesn't use the hard cam like an actual wrestling match does anymore?
no,
Ooh,
and also
ew.
yeah,
That doesn't work for multi-man matches.
yeah, and also that the ropes don't go transparent, so you don't how in tournament play levels where things that obscure your vision are banned because they obscure your vision. Yeah, this entire
Yeah.
game is banned in tournament play. Why not? Like
Ban the WWE. There you go.
yeah, but like there's so many bad decisions that they made that like like I don't want to give 2K money, but depending on how the game actually looks once it's played by real people instead of fake people that 2K employ, androids. No, no, but seriously, if the game comes out and like I might actually pick it up on sale just because it's so fucking weird. And at least like as much as I shit on the controls, but when I remember they make more sense than the controls that 2K20 had.
Yeah, 2K20 was just changing shit for the sake of hiding the fact they didn't change shit.
Yeah,
The I'll say, like, from what I've seen of 2K22, I think the dodge change is kind of dumb. I like that we're getting Unmasked Kane again after so long. And I like the GM mode is back, though it depends a lot on its execution.
yeah. I would have liked season mode better than GM mode, but like that's really less of a thing about it for GM mode because more I want universe mode to have a purpose. Like I want universe mode I want universe mode to like now, especially now that GM mode is back. I want universe mode to be a thing where I can choose a wrestler and then just have fucking shitty non storylines written by Paul Heyman.
Yeah. Well, the trouble is that season mode is a lot more work to make happen than GM mode.
Yeah,
Because season mode in Shut Your Mouth was so fucking in depth. Whereas GM mode, it's really just a player making choices on some level to try and make interesting shows, but more than that, it's supposed to be to making money, which of course the AI has bizarre ways of registering, but still.
Yeah, I loved my only exposure to GM mode like before directly was '08, and yeah, that probably explains why I'm not really thrilled about its inclusion. But yeah, like I remember how every 2 weeks, like half of my roster would be injured, and then the CPU's roster never got injured. Because why not?
See, the trick with '08 was '08 let you play multiplayer GM mode. So I just set to myself to controlling all three brands.
You need a multi tap for all three, though. I don't have a multi tap.
I
That's
don't
the
remember how
problem.
I achieved it, but yeah. Well, one thing I do remember very much about 2008 was that was the first game where that was the game where Kelly debuted, right?
I think so.
I think I've mentioned this before, but if I didn't like a wrestler, I'd have Kelly squash them.
Ah, yeah. I mean, I don't know why I ran the storyline, but my favorite thing from '08, just overall, is how every week there would be a normal show, but every week there would be any sort of match, usually a backstage brawl where Terry Funk beat the shit out of Carlito. I don't even hate Carlito. He just kind like that's just kind of how it happened. Like they had a fucking blood feud where they went back and forth.
I forgot. Oh wait, I forgot Terry Funk was in '08.
Yeah, he was an ECW legend, I think, is what they called him.
Oh right, that was the game where there was Funk, there was Sandman,
Dreamer.
RVD,
No, not RVD. Not
Sabu.
RVD.
Oh, you're right, RVD. What the fuck? ECW with no RVD? Are you
Yeah,
serious?
ECW with no RVD. It was the cream of the crop of ECW. Sabu, Sandman, Dreamer, and Funk. Which like Funk, I don't even associate with ECW, but like
When
really,
I think of
the
Punk
only
doing
way,
crazy extreme shit, I think of Japan.
yeah, like the only way they could have made the ECW roster better is if they included fucking New Jack.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget the Blue World Order.
I mean, wasn't Stevie Williams still employed by them at that point?
Probably.
Williams Richards.
Oh man,
Yeah, whatever. Fuck
by
it.
that time, both Foley and the Dudley brothers would have both gone to TNA as well. So ECW with no Foley and no Dudleys. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah, instead ECW has Kenny Dijkstra, freaking Punk, Kelly, Chris Masters, I think. No, Cresters. Yeah, Cresters was SmackDown, I think.
Oh, did they have Taz skipped out on that
No.
game as well, even though he's a commentator?
Yeah, Tess was gone. The commentators in the game were freaking Tess and Michael Cole on SmackDown, Michael Cole and I forget who, maybe Lawler on Raw, and then I think it was either Michael Cole or Joey Styles and Taz on ECW.
What wasn't Jibble on one of the commentary teams in that game?
Maybe. Maybe you're right. Yeah, it was Cole and Taz on Raw, Cole and Jibble on SmackDown, and then ECW is a mystery.
Yeah.
It was I think Taz and someone else. Probably Michael Cole. I kind of want to say it was Joey Styles.
That is just unthinkable to me that they had in that game an ECW Legends focus, no RVD, no Dudley Boys, no Taz. What the fuck?
But
You know what that reminds me of?
Taz was technically in the game only as a commentator.
Yeah, but you couldn't play as him, and nobody prefers Taz as a commentator to Taz as a wrestler. I'll say that.
I mean, I like Taz as a commentator because he's dumb. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, for that appeal, I suppose. It reminds me of WWE 12. They had like a all WCW lineup of legends, but there was no Ric Flair, no Sting, and no Hollywood Hogan.
Ah, nice.
So the big legends for that year for the WCW side. Oh no Hall either because Scott Hall hadn't got back on the wagon yet. So no Scott Hall. So they had NWO, but it was just Kevin Nash.
Nice. Yes, that is what the NWO is known for. It was a one man army of Kevin Nash.
I'm trying to remember. Kevin Nash, Arn Anderson, Legion of Doom. Fuck, who else do they have? Vader. There you go. That might have been it. That was all the WCW legends. Maybe Ricky
Nice.
Steamboat.
I don't know why.
Wow, that was
I don't know why I thought you were going to say maybe Rikishi.
Rikishi.
WCW legend Rikishi.
Oh man, that was so awkward because and then the next year was Day 13, and 13 had probably the best example of actually assembling a associated class of legends because they did pretty well get all the big Attitude Era guys except Benoit.
Yeah.
Because, and Owen. They obviously didn't get Owen either.
Yeah. I wish Shamrock got to be in more games. I don't know why. I don't even know why I like Shamrock. I just do.
Shamrock's fun because he's legit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's always part of the appeal, I guess, that 13 can have over later games is that since they focused on one era and did so much into it, they got to show a little bit more of the guys who are esoteric and don't so consistently get in, right?
Yeah. Oh, I guess there is one person who was missing from the 13 roster, I think.
Oh,
China.
China, I think, was the biggest one. China and Owen were the big ones because even Benoit didn't really matter in the Attitude Era until like the last year of it.
Yeah, did they have Rude in 13?
Rick Rude?
Yeah.
No, but Rick Rude was only a DX member for one appearance.
That's true.
Now, what am I trying? Well, they were missing the biggest element of the Attitude Era. They were missing Al Snow.
Ah, yes.
What am I supposed to do without my head?
I was going to make a joke about D'Lo, but D'Lo was in the game, wasn't he?
You know what? I think the Dudleys were actually missing.
Ah, yeah.
The Dudleys were missing.
Both the Dudleys and the Hardys, although the Hardys picked up steam going into the 2000s, but they were enhancement talent in the 90s, I think. So it's not a big loss, but it is kind of funny.
The Dudleys and the Hardys were missing, and Edge and Christian and Gangrel were DLC. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Which, boy, Gangrel would not be brought back for another fucking game. Oh boy. Speaking of dudes that didn't come back for another game, was 13 the last one to have New Age Outlaws?
I think so.
Weird.
No.
Road Dogg been a road agent.
Road Dogg, that was the last game of Road Dogg, I think. Billy Gunn got to come back as the one.
Oh.
In 16,
right. Which is so bizarre because Road Dogg has been a road agent for like a decade now until Duty just fired him out of the blue a couple months ago.
Yeah.
13 didn't have Regal.
Didn't they have like Steven Regal instead of William? Like you know what? As if they're not the same person, but still.
I don't think they did because he only worked the name Steven Regal when he was doing the Man's Man gimmick, and that didn't last long.
But he was Steven Regal in WCW, I think, as well.
He was. That's true. I was just talking about WWE. I guess it's fair to leave Regal out of the Attitude Era because he didn't really come into relevance until around Invasion time when they made him the European ambassador or whatever in 2000 or 2001.
Yeah. I wish they did 13 like game for Ruthless Aggression Era, just like for the sole reason of Tajiri. That's it. That's all I want. Tajiri.
I'd like to see a Legends focus. I mean, a focused Legends roster again. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love like the massive deluge of Legends we get in these games now, but especially with WWE's actual real life roster size constantly thinning, they're gonna need to make up more reasons to have proper rosters of Legends.
Yeah, like I don't mind these like following certain people's careers, but at the same time, like I feel like the last two showcases that were actually like interesting where the freaking the Attitude Era and the 30 years of WrestleMania, which are
those are both. Yeah, those are both good. With them focusing on individual careers, it kind of turns into just an excuse to have 1,000 Austins and 1,000 Daniel Bryans, you know?
Yeah. And so, like, as much as I like having different looks for these characters, like we could still get the different looks for, like, focusing on an era, because we still had Austin 2D braces in freaking in 13, didn't we? That's the character's name,
I'm sorry, what?
Austin 2D knee braces.
Austin two knee braces.
Yeah,
I never keep track of Austin's knee braces. I know that's a thing for some people,
no,
Austin's
no,
knee
I'm not.
braces,
I'm
but
not. I'm not talking about that. I don't keep track of Austin's knee braces either. But that's how the character is usually distinguished from like normal Austin. Is that normal Austin has one knee brace, so he's just Steve Austin. But when he comes up with the two knee braces, the game calls him Austin two knee braces.
I've not heard of that. What game was that supposed to be?
I think that was 16, but I feel like it was also a thing in 13. It was one of the
I was
it was one of the current, or I guess last gen now, games that had Austin 2D races for sure. I feel like 13 also did.
I have 16, and I want to say that in 16 I think there's two Stone Cold versions of Austin, and then they also have Stunning and the ECW Austin when he had long hair.
Yeah.
They might have had three versions of Stone Cold. Yeah. Yeah, it's also just like kind of bizarre just how like wasteful it can be sometimes when they do shit like that, you know?
Yeah, or rather how it feels, because it's a thing that has been going on back and forth between both the fans and the companies, that like technically they're not wasting roster spots, because this is what this is how the plan was, or the deal was already made. So that's like they
Yeah.
make the roster slots so those characters fit in. At the same time, like having like 10 different Steve Austins on the screen makes it feel like you left out 9 other characters.
It certainly makes it feel like it. To my understanding, the reason why they make them all have different roster slots now is just because, like, with the way the game's coding works, technically each individual attire, even if it is just a secret hidden, or not secret or hidden, but even if it's just an alternate attire attached to a character, the game still treats it as if it's a separate character,
Yeah,
right?
I know spaghetti code.
Yeah, which
The scary
I think
paschetti.
ultimately I do like it most of the time when they do that, because like there are wrestlers who change a lot over their careers. Like it makes perfect sense to have a separate Hulk Hogan and a separate Hollywood Hogan, because one was a face, one was a heel, even though he didn't work very different. Well, conversely, there are some wrestlers who changed the way they wrestled entirely over the course of their career. Like what am I trying to think of?
Chris Jericho.
Jericho. Yeah, Jericho's a very good example. Who else was there? Show changed it up a fair bit, because classic Show, of course, didn't use the stupid lazy punch.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just me. I always like to give Unmasked Kane the falling power bomb as a finish. I don't know why I like that for him.
Are you saying you don't like the power of the punch, or whatever it's called? The shitty regal move where they were too lazy to animate the breast knuckles, so they just pretend the breast knuckles exist.
Yeah, that one's hilarious. I always loved that one in the old games, because the character, if you actually grab somebody with it, if you actually hit somebody with it, the opponent would stand around doing the fucking Mortal Kombat dazed stance for like a fucking hour while Regal had to reach into his tights for the imaginary brass knuckles.
Nice.
Thankfully, in 2K19, they switched it to being a payback thing. So you actually have to prepare the knucks ahead of time and shit.
Ah,
And I want to say they actually made it where he also puts knucks on. They might have had to go to the trouble of doing that, because now they've got a diva. I think they've got a diva now diva's not the proper term anymore. Nowadays they've got I think Lacey Evans now I think uses the knucks. So they kind of had to make them not suck again.
yeah.
Though they still call it the power of the punches to send up to Regal, which I like. Now, what was I going to say? Regal's also kind of a good example of someone who it makes sense to have multiple copies for, because I don't think he used the Regalplex very much early on, right? When he was younger, he used more so the Regal Cutter as a finish. Well, back in the really old days, Regal almost never used a clean finish at all. He always finished with the power of the punch,
As was the style at the time.
as was the style at the time. I'm trying to think of a wrestler who's just like absolutely massively changed their moves. I mean, of course, it's appropriate for Foley. Foley's different than from everybody else. Foley was the first, really. Foley was the nutty one in 13 that you had 4 different Foleys because that was just like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah. Although with
And
that,
then,
with like, on one hand, I can kind of understand Foley. On the other hand, I'm just reminded of like freaking No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000, where it's just like Big Foley. All right, switch outfits. Mankind, switch outfits. Freaking Dude Love, switch outfits. Cactus Jack.
yeah, that not that's just weird to me because like I can't. I'm sure he did use the Cactus DDT as a couple times as Mankind, but the idea of Cactus Jack using the Mandible Claw, using Mr. Sacco, just seems wrong to me. You know?
Yeah. But what about
Oh,
Cactus Jack dancing? Like Dude
yeah.
Love.
Or
I mean,
Dude Love sitting on the ground and waddling back and forth while rambling to himself.
yeah. Although I think how they fixed that is that those games also had the characters, now the outfits as separate characters, but they made the roster they made the roster pick screen smart. So and like how the game like interacts with those smart, I guess, and they all had
Uh,
their own separate move lists.
yeah, I mean, the smart thing really to make the character select screens work nowadays would be just do the Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi thing where you pick a character and then it asks you to pick a variant, right?
Yeah.
There isn't like a whole fucking character select screen devoted to Goku. It's you pick Goku and then it asks, do you want Super Saiyan 1 Goku? Do you
Yeah,
want,
you pick Goku.
Kaioken Goku?
You pick Goku, and then the second game opens up where you choose Goku again, but there's different versions now.
Pretty well, yeah. It was kind of just a separate character select. And Goku was the most monstrous, but they did, everyone else, most of the other characters still got variants. There's like
Yeah.
a dozen Vegetas, a dozen Gohans, and so on.
Yeah, couldn't you pick Super 17 from normal 17?
I think they were treated as separate characters because technically Super 17 is a bit different,
Yeah.
Like for Sin Shenron, you could pick Omega. He had the alternate variant of Omega Shenron. Cell had his 3 or 4 different stages. Boo had his. Frieza had his like fucking 12 because Budokai Tenkaichi was the only game to actually ever depict all of the stages of Frieza properly.
Yeah.
What the fuck was up with Frieza? That was weird.
He's he's utilizing the psycho power.
Yeah. Nowadays they could do it with the 21. You can pick between regular Boo 21 or weird red and blue pajamas 21, I guess.
Yeah.
That's so. I forget. Did they confirm whether the human 21 is a new character or just a costume?
I don't know. I don't really follow DBFZ news aside from like mechanical
No,
changes. Yeah.
I don't either. All right. So I believe that's pretty well our talks for the week.
Yeah. I think so too.
Do you think fighting games were?
I suppose so. Fighting games were.